Hello guys, this is Mauro from PrimaFotech.com, and on this video I will walk you through all the new features and changes included on Windows 10 October 2018 update, also known as the version 1809. This is a feature update number 6 that Microsoft is releasing for Windows 10, and it is a continuation of the April 2018 update that delivers several new features and changes to improve a number of areas of Windows 10, including performance, productivity, and security. Just don't expect too much, as this update is a lot smaller than its predecessor. There is a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Before we move on, it should be noted that the update is expected to arrive in October. Just remember that it will take time until Microsoft upgrades every device. Also remember to check the video description for a specific release date and to learn how to get version 1809 on your computer. In this new feature update, on the Start menu, now you can rename folder tiles by just clicking on the header and typing a new name. Also, Windows 10 is updating its hide scroll bar option, and now it also enables you to hide the scroll bars in the Start menu using the ease of access settings. So now you should go to the display settings. If you have the automatically hide scroll bars in Windows turned on, in addition to automatically hide the scroll bars across the operating system, it will also automatically hide the scroll bars in the Start menu. Previously, the search experience only included search previews for web results. In this new version, the experience is expanding to apps, documents, and more. The new search preview will help you to get back to recent documents, quickly start new tasks, and see more information about a particular document. In addition, Microsoft is tweaking the web previews so that if you search for a third-party application, let's say download Office, you will now get a button to download the app from the official download page. Also, you probably already noticed, but the search experience now has a wider interface that allows you to access even more information and actions a lot faster. In Action Center, now notifications appear with a fading animation as you open the experience, and notifications to fix blurry apps now appears in Action Center when the toast has timed out or dismissed. Also, you will see notifications for supported Bluetooth devices when they're running low on battery, and when Windows 10 blocks an app from accessing your microphone. In this new version, Windows 10 also introduces a new dark theme for File Explorer in Context menu that you can enable using the Colors page in the Personalization section in the Settings app. The dark theme also extends to the File menu, to the different tabs, and when opening or saving a file from an application. Alongside the ability to open a PowerShell window using the Shift right-click context menu, starting with the October 2018 update, you can also open a Linux shell console as well. Also, when using the Details view on File Explorer, now the size filters has been updated to reflect different sizes for each category, including for tiny, small, medium, and also for large, huge, and gigantic. But those are only going to appear if you have files that fall in that category. On Windows 10 version 1809, we're also getting a new Clipboard experience that leverages the Microsoft Cloud to copy and paste content across devices. The new experience is a complement to the old Clipboard, which means that you can do everything you were able to do before, just like use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V to copy and paste. However, now there is a new keyboard experience that you can open using the Windows key +V keyboard shortcut that allows you to see your clipboard history. In addition, the experience includes a clear button to delete all your history. You can pin those pieces of content that you paste more frequently. You can also delete content individually, and you can also enable the feature if it is currently disabled. This also works for images up to 4 megabytes in size, but you can only copy from one document to another. You can copy an image file and expect it to appear in your history. Also remember that this is just for content only. You can copy files to move to another location and expect it also to appear in your clipboard history. Just to give you a quick demonstration of how easy it is to use the new clipboard experience, I'm just going to select this text and right click on it and click copy, and you will see that that will appear on the list. I can even add more content and you will see that it will appear on the list. If there is something that I don't want to keep anymore, I can just click the delete button. If there is a content that I paste a lot, I can just click the pin button and that will stay pinned on the list. Even if I delete all my history, clicking the clear all button. If you want to paste a piece of content, just simply open the experience and select the content that you want to paste from the list. The clipboard also adds a few new settings that you can configure using the settings app. So now if you go to system, and now you will find a new clipboard page that also allows you to enable or disable the feature. So as you can see, I just disabled it and I can turn it back on. And if you want to see that it's been enabled, just jump to another page and come back and you will see that the feature has been enabled. By default, for security reasons, Microsoft doesn't sync your content across devices. That's something you have to do manually through this page. And when you enable the feature, your clipboard history will sync to the Microsoft Cloud and then to your other devices that are using the same Microsoft account. Also, Microsoft gives you two ways to sync your content. By default, it is set to automatic. So this means that every piece of content, like text and images that you copy to the clipboard, will sync automatically to all your devices, and you can choose never to sync out automatically. But then if you want some content to appear on other devices, you have to actually you have to copy content, and then on the experience you select the sync button that appear right next to it to make it available across your devices, and you will have to do that with every piece of content. If you want to clear your history, you can also do it from this page. Just click the clear button and that will clear your history, but it will not clear those items that you pin to the list. And that's pretty much all that's new with the new clipboard experience on Windows 10 October 2018 update. On the gaming side, Windows 10 October 2018 update is introducing a new game bar experience. In this new version, the game bar introduces a new design with a larger interface that now includes audio controls to change the default audio output and mute or adjust the volume of games and apps. In addition, you can now open the game bar from the start menu, just searching for the game bar, or you can still use the Windows key +G keyboard shortcut. Windows 10 version 1809 is also improving the settings app with new features and changes, including a new section on the right side of the homepage, which now surfaces common questions and tips about settings. For some reasons, the tips part is not showing up at this time on my installation, but in your installation, the right side might look something like this. Here's a quick tip. If you don't want to see this right side on the settings app, you can quickly disable that on privacy, and on the general page, just turn off this option. Now let's dive into the new settings. On system, on display, now we're going to find a new Windows HD color section. In accessing the page, you can control high dynamic range and wide gamut color settings for content such as videos, games, and apps on supported displays. The page also reports the computer HD color features and allows HD color features to be configured on supported system as well. And there is even a battery option that you can use to select how the system should optimize the battery when running Windows HD color content. The sound settings page has also been updated to include device properties. In this new page, you can name your device, you can disable the speakers, and you also have a drop-down menu that allows you to select your preferred audio format. In the case that your device supports DTS:X, you will find this option right here on this drop-down menu. Using the sound settings, you can now also access the Manage Sound Devices page that allows you to test and disable your speakers and microphones. In Focus Assist, you're not going to see visual changes or new options, but the feature has been updated, so now it will automatically enable when you're playing any games in full screen. Before, this functionality was only available for certain games. On storage sense has been updated, so now it includes a new option called Locally Available Cloud Content, which makes your unused OneDrive content available only online to free up space on your device. Using this feature, you will still be able to see your content with File Explorer, but you will need an internet connection to open the files. If you have selected the Always Keep on this device option, those files will remain on your computer regardless. Using the new drop-down menu, you can select the number of days that Windows 10 will look to consider files ready to be only available online to free up space on your computer. Although it's not a significant change, using the drop-down menu, you will notice that the When Windows Decides option has been renamed to this new option. On the Projecting to this PC, you won't find new settings, but Windows is updating how this feature works, starting with version 1809 on devices that support this feature. In order to help you to know when you're wirelessly projecting and quickly disconnect and reconnect, Windows 10 will show you a control banner at the top of the screen, as you can see right here, when you're projecting to another display. The new banner will keep you informed about the state of the connection, and it will allow you to adjust some settings. Clicking the gear button allows you to optimize the screen latency depending on the mode you're using. The game mode minimizes the screen latency to make gaming over a wireless connection possible. Video mode increases the screen-to-screen latency to ensure the video on the big screen plays back smoothly without glitches. Productivity mode offers a good balance between game mode and video mode, where the screen latency is responsive enough that typing feels natural while ensuring the video don't glitch too often. Clipboard is a new page on the settings app. We already looked into these settings, so I'm not gonna go through all of them again, but here you can control the clipboard history and the sync settings for that experience. On devices, the Bluetooth and other devices page has been updated to display the battery level for supported Bluetooth peripherals such as mouse, keyboard, and pen. I currently don't have a supported device connected to this virtual machine, but if you do, you will now see a battery level, as you can see right here. In addition, on supported devices, Windows 10 will even pop up a notification when the battery on that Bluetooth device is running low. On the typing page, you can now access the Typing Insights page that shows you the times that Microsoft Artificial Intelligence has helped you to write more efficiently. This page will show you the stats when Windows 10 auto-corrected your spelling mistakes, predictions of the next word, and word suggestion as you start typing. You can always disable this feature by turning off this option. Just keep in mind that this feature is currently available when using the touch keyboard and word predictions when using a hardware keyboard. On the October 2018 update, you're also going to find a new suggestions and autocorrections link to access a new page that allows you to manage the Swift key suggestions and autocorrections features for touch and hardware keyboards. Using the Swift key feature will give you more accurate autocorrections and predictions by learning your writing style. Depending on the languages that you have installed on your computer, you can enable and disable this feature for each individual language. In the network and internet section, the data usage page is getting updated to include data usage information for mobile data when using a SIM card while roaming. The data usage information will appear once you start using your roaming data. If you'd like to enable or disable roaming altogether, you can find the option under the cellular settings. In the apps and features page, Windows 10 isn't adding new features, but the new default options to install apps on Windows 10 is set to turn off app recommendations rather than allow apps from anywhere. And you will find Show Me Apps Recommendations option as well. Also, in the Manage Optional Features page, it is now possible to add remote server administration tools once, and later on, Windows 10 will restore them back after an upgrade. On video playback, there is a new Adjust Video based on lighting option, as you can see right here, which is a new feature designed to improve video visibility in a very bright environment. However, in order for you to see this option, your computer must have an ambient light sensor, which I don't have in this computer, so you can see it, the option right here. And there is also a link to jump to the Windows HD color settings. On Family and Other Users, the Settings tab is now making it easier to set up a computer as a kiosk device. The new page provides a new wizard that walks you through the steps to configure the device to run a single application. So let's say that I want to create a kiosk device that allows guests on a hotel to browse the internet. I just pick a name for the account. Then I click Next, and then I select the app. And depending on the app, you have different options that you can configure using this feature. For example, if I use Microsoft Edge, I get an option to set it up as a digital sign or interactive display or as a public browser. So we can pick that and click Next. Here we just have to enter a website that will be set as the home page, start page, and new tab page. And you can also set the time that Microsoft Edge will wait before it restarts so someone else can use the browser. And then I just click Next and then close. And here you can also change the application if you want to set a different kiosk device and other settings. If you want to remove the account, just click Remove, remove again, and then you're good to go. Once you have configured a PC as a kiosk device, you simply need to restart the computer, and then Windows 10 will sign in automatically and start the application in full screen mode above the lock screen using a restricted local standard account. Then if you want to log out, just simply use the Ctrl-Delete keyboard shortcut that will give you access to the lock screen so you can sign in with administrator account to change the settings or to disable the feature. Starting with the Windows 10 version 1809, the Settings tab is split in the region and language page, and now we have one page for region and one page for language. In the region page, in addition to previously available settings, you can now override default regional settings such as calendar, first date of the week, dates, and times. The main page shows the current region configurations, and to adjust the settings, you need to access the Change Data Format page. In the new language page, you will find the same settings as before, but now there is a link to access the local experience packs from the Microsoft Store. In the gaming section, you won't find a lot of visual changes, but Game DVR has now been renamed to Captures. On Cortana, the Talk to Cortana page now includes the option to change the name that the assistant uses to call you right on this page. Before, it used to be located on the settings that you can access through the Cortana experience. On Permissions and History, you will now find a personalized section to see and control the Microsoft account that Cortana uses to personalize your experience. Also, under History, you will now find a new Activity Recommendations toggle switch, which allows you to enable or disable recommendations to pick up activities where you left off when switching devices. On Ease of Access, the display page now has been updated with a new section called Make Text Bigger, which now includes the controls to increase the text size across Windows 10, including for Microsoft Store apps and classic desktop programs. On the Windows 10 October 2018 update, the magnifier page now includes the ability to keep your mouse center on the screen in full screen mode using the Keep the Mouse Cursor drop-down menu. And you now have more control over the zoom level increments with the addition of 5% and 10% options. In the Narrator page, you will find a new Choose Keyboard Settings section that allows you to select different keyboard layouts, modifier keys, an option to lock the narrator key to prevent having to press the key again on every command, and an option to activate keys when lifting the finger when using the touch keyboard. Also, with the October 2018 update, there is a new Quick Start experience with basic tutorials to start using Narrator. There is a lot going on under the hood with Narrator on version 1809, so if you're interested, check the video description to find the link to the written walkthrough of the October 2018 update that also shows more details about the new Narrator changes. On Privacy, the speech inking and typing is also split into two pages, and now we have a page for speech and another one for inking and typing personalization. While in the speech page you won't find new features, this is now the place to turn online speech recognition on or off. On inking and typing personalization, this is a new page in the Settings app. It doesn't introduce new features. Just like before, you can enable or disable the ability for Windows 10 to collect your typing history, handwriting patterns, to create a local dictionary, to improve suggestions. In addition, across the privacy settings, Microsoft has also updated many of the sections, including activity history and location, with new text description to make settings easier to understand. And on pages such as notification, radios, and app diagnostics, include new options to better control the settings per device, per account, and per apps individually. On update and security, Microsoft is also updating the Windows Update mechanism. Perhaps one of the most frustrating aspects about Windows 10 is trying to install updates while you're working on your computer. Starting with version 1809, if you have an update pending, Windows 10 will use an updated reboot logic to be more adaptive and proactive. Using machine learning, Microsoft has trained a predictive model to accurately pinpoint when is the right time to restart your device. Also, on update and security, on the left side, now we're going to find a link to get to the delivery optimizations, but none of the settings inside of this page has been updated. And that's pretty much all that's new with the settings app for Windows 10 October 2018 update. In this new version, Windows 10 is also including Unicode version 11, which comes with 157 new emojis, including superheroes, softball, and pirate's flag. In the past, you needed an administrator account to install fonts for all users. Starting with Windows 10 version 1809, you can now install fonts for a specific user from the Microsoft Store without the need of administrator permissions. Also, the ability to add new fonts has been extended to files that you may have obtained from other sources. For example, now you can right-click a font file and you will see two options. The install option adds the new font to the current user account, and the install for all users will require administrator permissions to install a font to all users. If you are previewing a font file, you will now be able to click the install button without the need of elevator privileges. Just like in version 1803, Task Manager now shows an icon when the process is suspended in the Status column of the Processes tab. In addition, when you hover over the leaf icon, you will now see a tooltip describing what it means. Also, Windows 10 is making a small change on how memory is used by suspended Universal Windows Platform apps and processes that appear in Task Manager. As a result, moving forward, the main memory column no longer includes memory used by suspended Universal Windows Platform processes. On version 1809, Task Manager now includes two new columns in the Processes tab, including Power Usage and Power Usage Trend, to show the energy impact of the running process on your computer. This should help to understand which apps and services are using the maximum power versus the least power-hungry apps. The metric takes the CPU, graphics, and drive into evaluation when calculating the power usage. In the power usage column, we'll provide an immediate view of apps and services using power. On the right, on the power usage trend, the column provides a power usage trend over a 2-minute period for each running app and service. This column will be blank when you start an app, but it will populate based on the power usage every 2 minutes. And that's what's new with the Task Manager for the October 2018 update. Also, Windows 10 is updating the right-click context menu for text boxes, which now allows you to quickly cut, copy, and paste using touch, and you will now see icons for common actions. Windows 10 introduced support for high-efficiency image file format with the April 2018 update, and on version 1809 you can now rotate images using that format, and you can also edit the metadata for this type of format. Windows 10 version 1809 also introduces a new mobile broadband USB class driver for devices that support SIM cards and USB modems. The driver is based on the new NetAdapter firmware stack already available on Windows 10. In addition, Windows 10 introduces new improvements for the Diagnostic and Data Viewer app, including the ability to view problem reports that have or will be sent to Microsoft with specific details about each report collected, such as when it was sent and what app or component caused the report to be created. Furthermore, the app is getting some interface changes, including filters to view data points, and the export data feature now is located on the top right of the interface. In the Windows 10 October 2018 update, the embedded handwriting will now be the default experience for text entry when using a pen in any Microsoft Store application. As you can see in the image, just tap the text area like a search box and it will expand to use a more comfortable space to write. The registry editor is also getting updated with a new drop-down that appears as you type to help you complete the next part of the path. In addition, now using the Control backspace keyboard shortcut will delete the last word you type, which makes breaking up Word that much faster. Starting with this new feature update, Windows 10 also includes support for leap second, which allows occasional 1-second adjustments in a traceable UTC compliant manner. The operating system now also offers a new time protocol that delivers a more accurate time samples to the endpoint to display time more accurately. In addition, you can now further improve your network time accuracy by eliminating software delay introduced by the Windows networking stack. Windows 10 version 1809 introduces a number of improvements for Microsoft Edge as well. For example, now there is a new updated main menu that organizes items into groups, and now each item is identified by an icon, and you will now see the keyboard shortcut for the action when applicable. The new menu features 6 different groups with 3 sub-menus. Also, reading list, books and history, and help and feedback are new items into the list, and using the showing toolbar sub-menu, you can add and remove shortcuts from the address bar. And the More Tools sub-menu will give you access to other features including Add Notes, Share this page, Cast Media to Device, Open with Internet Explorer, Pin this page to start, and the option to access the developer tools. If you need to change the Microsoft Edge settings, you will now be presented with a new interface that is identical to the Hub interface with a wider canvas and settings divided into 4 groups, including General, Privacy and Security, Password and Autofill, and Advanced Settings. In this new version of the browser, you can also decide whether videos should play automatically on websites using the new Media Autoplay controls. Allowed is the default option and will continue to play videos just like before. If you use the limit option, it will restrict autoplay only when videos are muted. Once you click anywhere on the page, autoplay will re-enable automatically. And you can also use the block option. This will prevent autoplay on all sites until you interact with the media content. But just be aware that this option might break some site as a result of design enforcements. In this new version of Microsoft Edge, you can configure media autoplay globally through the settings, or you can do it on a per website basis. For example, you can go to a website that plays videos automatically, and then if you want to change the media autoplay settings, just click the lock, and then under website permissions, click the media autoplay settings link, and then select the option. You can also click the clear permissions to reset the settings, and if you want to change the settings, you can come back and select another option, or you can also do the Microsoft Edge settings, and on website permission, just click the manage button and then delete the website that you want to reset the settings for autoplay. On the Hub experience, in the downloads section, you can now right click at download to access the context menu with new options like copy link, show in folder, and report this download as unsafe. In the history section, opening a local file like a PDF will now appear in the history section, as you can see right here. Starting with this new version of Windows 10, you can now refresh the books pane using a pull down gesture. When you right click an item from your library, you will now see an option to share the book. And now when you pin the book to the start menu, you will see a live tile that cycles between the book cover and your current progress. With the October 2018 update, the browser is also adding some changes to the PDF reader feature. For example, now you can bring up the toolbar by moving the mouse to the top edge of the document. You will also notice new text description for icons, and the toolbar now includes an option to add notes and pin the toolbar to the top of the document. PDF documents activities will now also appear in timeline. When printing a PDF file, you will also find a new option to choose the scale that includes fit to page or actual size. And now there is a new icon for PDF, which looks like this. In this new version of Microsoft Edge, we're also getting new learning tools when reading a book or viewing a website using Reading View. In the new learning tools, we get a text options tab with the options to add text spacing and the ability to change the page themes with a variety of colors that best suits your eyes. In the Grammar Tools tab, now when highlighting parts of speech, we get a drop down to select a color to highlight, in this case, nouns. And there is also a new option that allows you to add a label for the part of the speech that you are highlighting. In the Reading Preference tab, you will find a new line focus option that helps you to improve focus while reading an article by highlighting sets of 1, 3, or 5 lines. But it is important to note that while the learning tools are available for web pages and Reading View in books, Reading Preference option it's only available when using Reading View. While using Reading View, reading an ebook, or working with a PDF file, you will now find a new dictionary function to look up definitions for keywords. To use the feature, simply double-click the word to see the definition appear above the selection. From here, you can click the speaker button to listen to the pronunciation, and you can also click the More button to get more details about that specific word. If you would like to control this feature, you can do so on Settings and on the General tab. Under Show Definitions in Line, you can turn the toggle switch to disable the feature completely, or you can decide in which experience you would like to be able to look up definitions. Also, if you open Microsoft Edge from the taskbar or Start menu, now when you right-click the icon, you will have access to your top sites on the jump list. In addition, in this new version, there is a new consent menu box for saving autofill data, which will appear every time that the browser requires you permission to save password and card details. Also, moving forward, when pressing the F1 key and your keyboard, it will take you to the browser support page rather than the Microsoft Edge tips page. Starting with the October 2018 update, Microsoft Edge is also incorporating support of web authentication, which provides a new solution to replace password with stronger hardware-bound credentials. Using these new implementations, it allows to use Windows Hello with PIN or biometrics and external authenticators such as FIDO2 security keys to securely authenticate on websites. Finally, the web browser also includes a new update so that if a tab is not actively playing audio, you will be able to permanently mute it with the context menu. Also, in this new version, there is support for send site cookies, and you can now copy the certificate information of a website. And that's pretty much all that's new with Microsoft Edge for the Windows 10 version 1809. Starting with this new feature update, the Windows Defender Security Center app has been renamed to just Windows Security, but the name is not the only thing that is changing in this new version. For example, in this update, you will notice Reveal Highlight effect when hovering over items. Some of the setting has been rearranged, and the different sections. Now we have a right side pane with links to other settings or support help, and some of the pages, such as the virus and threat protection, the descriptions and the settings have been updated to make them easier to understand, and much more. As part of the control folder access feature that prevents ransomware and other types of malware attacks, Windows Security now makes it easier to whitelist apps that were recently blocked to keep using your device without having to disable the feature completely. In the device performance and health section, now there is a new assessment for the Windows 10 service. If Windows 10 realizes that the time isn't syncing correctly and the time syncing service is disabled, you will now see the option to turn it back on this page. On the settings page, there is a new security providers section with the link to manage providers. In this page, you will now see all the other security providers installed on your computer, including antivirus, firewall, and web protection that are currently running on your device. On this page, you can also quickly open the app or get more information on how to resolve an issue that has been reported through the Windows Security app. In addition, it's now possible to add rules for Windows Subsystem for Linux processes using the Windows Defender firewall. And the firewall can even show notifications for Windows Subsystem for Linux processes. In this new version, Microsoft is also updating Windows Defender Application Guard, which introduces a new interface within the Windows Security app to enable and configure the feature without having the need to modify the registry. If you need to enable this feature, you can now do it through the app and browser control page under the isolated browsing section and clicking the install Windows Defender Application Guard. Once installed, you have to restart your computer and then come back to the same page to adjust the settings. But in order to see it, you need to have a computer that supports that feature, which in my device is not possible. Alongside these new changes, Windows Defender Application Guard for Microsoft Edge also delivers performance improvements to make the experience feel lighter and faster. Starting with the October 2018 update, it is also possible to download files from a Windows Defender Application Guard session, but this option must be enabled manually and it is only available for users running the enterprise version of Windows 10. Starting with the October 2018 update, Microsoft is also introducing a new experience to take screenshots that combines the old snipping tools and Screen Sketch, previously part of Windows Ink Workspace, into a single experience that can be updated through the Microsoft Store. Some of this new feature includes the ability to take a screenshot and share it using the Windows Shift S keyboard shortcut, which brings the new snipping toolbar with all the basic tools to take a screenshot. You can take rectangular screenshots, freeform screenshots, or full screen screenshots. Using this experience, you can use different tools to annotate into the image. You can also crop the image. You can save it to a file, copy to the clipboard, or use the share experience to send the image to another person. If you don't want to use the keyboard shortcut, you can always open Snip Sketch using the start menu, and you can even use the new Screen Snip button on Action Center. Even further, on the Settings app, you can change the keyboard settings, and you can enable this option so you can use the print screen key on the keyboard to bring up the snipping tools to take a screenshot on Windows 10. If you have a device with a touch enabled display that supports pen, you will find an option in Pen and Windows Ink that allows you to configure the pen to access the snipping tools to take screenshots on Windows 10 as well. In this new update, Notepad is also getting an update to properly display content for text files created on Unix, Linux, and Mac OS. So now the app knows how to format content created in another operating system instead of showing something like this. The Find and Replace dialog has also been updated with a new option to do wraparound on search. So you can do search for multiple keywords instead of a single word. And the app now remembers previously entered values and the state of the checkboxes, and it will automatically populate them the next time you open the Find dialog. So let's say if we want to do a search for these keywords, they will appear right there, and if we change the settings, we close it and then we go back to the Find interface, we're going to see that the previously entered keywords will stay, and also the settings will be preserved. In addition, in the View menu, now we get a zoom option to zoom in text and zoom out. You can also use the Ctrl+ keyboard shortcut and Ctrl- to control the zoom. And you can also do the same thing using Control and the mouse wheel. If you use the Ctrl-0 keyboard shortcut, it will restore the original zoom level. Even further, Notepad now supports the ability to display line and column numbers, as you can see right here, when word wrap is enabled in the status bar. And you can use the Ctrl+ keyboard shortcut to delete the previous word that you type. If you need to research a word, you can simply select it and use the new Search with Bing option that will open Microsoft Edge, and it will show you the result using the Microsoft search engine. And that's all that's new for Notepad on the Windows 10 October 2018 update. Windows 10 is also getting a new application called Your Phone, which is a new way to connect your iPhone or Android phone to your PC with Windows 10 that enables instant access to text messages, photos, and notifications. Although features will be slightly different, whether you're using iOS or an Android device, you will be able to send and receive text messages, check your notifications, and actions such as drag and drop a picture into the desktop, or click the picture within the application to view it with the Photos app, and all without having to access your mobile device. However, keep in mind that this is a work in progress and not all the features planned will be available with this update. The app also includes a settings page, but right now it's kind of empty. It only allows you to enable or disable photos and text messages. Just a quick reminder that even though we're expecting the Your Phone app to work with Android and iOS devices, at the time of this recording, the app only works with Android devices. For those wondering, the performance of the new update is virtually the same as the previous version. The download takes about 3 to 5 gigabytes of storage, and the time to upgrade will depend upon the hardware configuration and your internet speeds. And that's basically everything that's new with Windows 10 version 1809, also known as the October 2018 update. Remember to also check my even more extensive written guide that includes everything we look in this video and many other details. I will be leaving a link for this article in the video description below, alongside links to other videos about this update, such as a video on how to upgrade or remove the October 2018 update if it is not working correctly on your device. Remember to like the video and leave your comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and I just hope this video was informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.